Well, obviously a very tough one to swallow. Give a lot of credit to our fans. The homecoming crowd out there today was absolutely awesome. I know that we haven't been able to secure a win for these guys and the fans, but to show up the way they did today on a beautiful day, and really thought we did enough to win this game. I know our preparation, guys were into it, locked in. I really thought offense, defense, special teams felt good about the plan coming in. Obviously could execute some things, have a lot of guys stepping up in the new roles or had new opportunities, and I thought on offense, to get Caden more involved in the game. Luke continues to do good things in the creative department with his legs. He did a lot of really different things. Got a couple guys involved offensively in the throw game. Defensively, we had a few guys get back to healthy, but we're just paper thin a couple times at certain positions, and just the flow of the game was very frustrating. And one thing we have now is obviously a bye week to kind of gather our thoughts, and we got a 4-game schedule that's got all Big Ten teams in front of us, and we obviously got to take it one game at a time. But at least those 4 games on the back end, you'd hope to be able to get ourselves in a position to be a little bit of a light at the end of the year that's positive.
What kind of explanation did you get on what was called the targeting, John?
0. I've been in this league a long time. Everybody's always going to, have their opinions on things, and I love the Big Ten. I love the officials, what they are, but I literally had some things, not only just this game, but over the course of the year, I'm just tired of it. I can't handle it. I don't understand it. Very frustrating. There's just a small synopsis at the end. I need those timeouts, right? And I had to call a timeout because they clapped, which made our guys jump, right? And I had to point it out to them because they could do it on the next play, and if they're going to allow it. So now they're down a timeout. Obviously, then at the end of the half, at the end of the game, they have a big play, get it down to the 5-yard line. We see them sub. So we sub, and they said they made a mistake and didn't T-bar, right, which makes us burn a timeout, which was all the difference in the world in the game scenario. And then the play on Johnny, obviously we'll appeal it. I saw it on the field. One of the things we wanted to do with this quarterback, sometimes when you have open hits on the quarterback, it's very tempting to lead with your head. And we've been trying to teach those guys to go for the ball. He was really loose on the ball. We obviously got one out in the first half. There was a play at the end of the game last week against Iowa where they got the ball out. So I think Johnny actually led with his hands. And it just turned the game. Like it's maddening. It's absolutely the most frustrating thing to have one of your best players make a great play and to have it go 30 yards the other way is just insanity.
What do you do, Bret? Big Ten?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had to do this before, so you can appeal those, right? So routinely on any given week, I try to minimize it. I'll turn in, last week I turned in 4 plays, and all 4 came back. Yeah, we'll get better, right? And I don't know how many I'll turn in this one, but like those kids deserve an answer. I get it. I'm the head coach, but those guys deserve an answer, right? Fans deserve an answer, and we didn't do enough to win the game, hands down. That's what it is. But to have things that are just routinely taken from you, it's sickening.
3 for 9 on 3rd and 4th downs. A lot of those were short yardage. And just was the same thing kind of happening. You feel like on short yardage, or is it?
Yeah, there was one drive where I think we were 3 for 3 on thirds. There was I know our first 4th and 1 that we didn't get. We probably could have executed the play of the call a little bit different, but until I see it on film, I can't really comment. But there were some positive ones out there, but obviously you want to convert them all.
What happened on that defensive possession end of half that you guys had 3rd and 10 pretty backed up?
Yeah.
What were those breakdowns that allowed them to get
Yeah,
back?
I think we went some zone. They had a couple guys sit down in the zone. And made 2 big plays that got them that opportunity down there. I think the 3rd and 10 play, obviously, when they converted that, they gave them some good mojo, and then obviously to put themselves in a position to get in the end zone. I know flat to the left, but we just got to come back in and make better calls. We've been really concentrating on the end of half. I think for us, we need to probably stay a little bit more man. We're definitely a better man team than we are zone, and especially at the end of half game like that quarterback did some things that. He converted and was able to make it. We just had a lot of tip balls. You just open one of those, is going to end up in our hands, but weren't able to get it done.
Obviously,
defense changed with Johnny out, but offensively, what were the struggles in the fourth quarter to not?
Yeah, I think, I know that offensively, that we're going to be driven by our quarterback play, and obviously I think a few of those sacks put us in bad situations. There was 2 holding calls. Again, they've got a holding on the Henry that I think we converted a first down there. If that one doesn't get called, that might be a way you could possibly put the game away. The offensive holding and then the defensive PIs or the defensive personal fouls obviously were the biggest difference in the game.
So you said the kids deserve an answer. What will you tell them about penalties and things that are? I'm sorry.
I told them just give credit to Wisconsin. Obviously, they did enough to win the game. I told them that I would take care of the appeal process and try to get them some answers. During the course of the year, a lot of times I'll show them. Like last week, we had a guy get low blocked that was kind of an injury, and it was totally illegal play. And so like this week, you got to show them that because they're asking questions about, hey, can they do that? And if they are, we got to play differently, right? So some of them are player safety, which is the ones that drive me the most crazy. I'm all for player safety, but we got to be able to educate our players to make them feel comfortable being out there.
Without Johnny those last 2 drives,
What's that?
I guess without Johnny those last 2 drives, how much did that affect what you're able to do and what kind of run offensively?
Well, Johnny's a good player, but I mean we can't just implode just because Johnny's not out there. The guy's got to step up. We moved Gabe to that position or a similar position took Keith's spot. This week I thought he had a really good week of practice, so kind of one of those scenarios where you lose one of your really good players and you bring another player from another position to play that position. So it was Gabe's first week at that position. I thought he had a really good week of practice, and I'll wait and see what they did out there today. But just kind of what we've been doing all year long on defense in particular, just from certain guys who get injured and other guys step into their roles, and we got to execute better, especially in the crunch. I think the end of half and end of game drives that have been successful for us in the last couple of weeks didn't end up our way, obviously.
Game, is that just a temporary thing until Keith's good?
Well, he's kind of been working into that role. We've got a certain package that he does that, and then this week with what they were doing offensively and the personnel we had driven, we made a decision early in the week to put Gabe in that role. And Tuesday was okay, Wednesday was really good, and Thursday was even better. So we'll kind of assess that as it goes, but. We should get Keith back. I think Keith and Reggie will be back at some point during this bye week and should be back for the Minnesota game. So that'll help us get some good players back as well.
In general, philosophically, do you prefer to save timeouts for end of game?
What's that?
Do you prefer to save timeouts for end of game?
I think anytime you can have timeouts at the end of the game is huge. But I called one there. They had a guy clap and we jumped. That's our signal. That's the most basic, elementary task of the game is the defense can't clap. That's our cadence. We jumped off sides. So, it's very frustrating.
Luke, it seemed like he understood, I can affect the game here by doing stuff with my legs and forcing stuff. He was making plays both ways.
Yeah. Luke's getting better. Obviously he's a very gifted thrower. I think he's got some things with his feet, but he hasn't put the ball in jeopardy. Now, really, even the play against Maryland last week, again, they said it wasn't a PI, right? But that goes against us. So he really has been pretty clean last couple games. We just got to do enough things around him to help us get better. I thought, special teams obviously went out and I was worried about the wind conditions, but we made some adjustments there and made a couple things that hopefully gave us an advantage, and then just the utter disappointment at the end of that fourth quarter was just very, very frustrating.
What's key for you as a program in recruiting this week?
Yeah, so for us as coaches, myself and one other coach will be out pretty hard the next 3 days, looking specifically at needs that we have for 2024, guys that will be able to join us hopefully in January. I've kind of always done that my first 2 years here, just during the first bye week. We've only got one bye week this year, but I go back to our first year. This exact same plan is what landed us Isaiah Adams. I went to watch a junior college practice and liked what we saw and got us in on that ride. Several other guys have kind of played in those same exact scenarios, so these next 3 days are going to be huge, and then we'll come in and we'll practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then most of my coaches will be out on the road Thursday, Friday, and then come back and get a jump on Minnesota. My coordinators won't go out on the early part of this week. They won't go out to the back end of the week.
Been able to string back-to-back wins for a while. Is momentum a real thing, like for you? And if so, like how do you capture?
Yeah. I think momentum is huge, but I think the belief on game day is even bigger, right? And I believe our guys 100% thought they were going to win this football game. I think that's why the locker room hurts so bad now, and they expected to win. Obviously, Wisconsin was a 4-2 football team. We were a 2-4 team that, obviously was looking to get ourselves. Hopefully, we were a 3-4 football team. Was trying to get to 4-4, and weren't able to do it. But we got to take every game for what it is. We talked before the year that we had 12 guaranteed opportunities. We got 8 behind us, and we got 4 in front of us that are going to be paramount to see how we want this thing to end up.
Two tight end touchdowns in the red zone today. Was it a game plan kind of going in to get them more involved?
Yeah, I think Barry, in general, we run a lot of 11, some 12, but we had different versions of 12. We had 12 when it's Tanner and Henry Boyer. We have 12 when it's Tip and Tanner, and then we have also 12 with either Tanner or Tip in there with Griffin Moore, and then we ran some 3 tight end sets. It's been good for us. So, we're just going to continue to build and mold and try to take advantage of our personnel strengths. But it's going to be a critical week for us in this bye week to get ourselves healthy and get ready for a 4-week run.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.